What's going on, YouTube? It's Sensei, the place to be. Show Mr. A&D. Back to you guys on the Monday Night Raw review. You guys have not seen me this whole weekend. I've been working. They did not drop any 2K news. I mean, they keep releasing ratings and stuff like that. So I was just like, look, I'm not even going to sit there and break that, try to do a whole video about it when they already going to just keep periodically releasing ratings and stuff like that. So I'm like, I did a reaction to that already. I thought they was going to do a ringside report, so they did. So right now, I'm just like, look, we're going to do Raw. I put the podcast, we're going to get the snippets of podcast, a late Smackdown review. Because me and Prime had to talk about that. So that's what come up after this Raw review. But I got to say about this Raw review because Raw was a bore last night. Raw act just dragged. And I'm like, look, if the report, because there have been talks, that we talk about this on the podcast about Vince McMahon come back, and I've always said, like, back in creative, and I've said that, look, it really is nothing to really be sweating about until they make that sale. But however, it's hard to sit there and with the decisions that they're going with and making, that this is not actually happening. So it's in my eye. But look, because a lot of things is going on with Monday Night Raw, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, these don't feel like Triple H type bookings here. Now, I'm not sitting there saying that Triple H is completely out of power right now, but I'm just saying, it looks like by WrestleMania, it's like we're going to just build up to what Triple H is going to do at WrestleMania and then maybe Vince just be back. So, listen, we kick off Raw where the Usos, but it's not even Usos, it's Jimmy and Solo Sikoa come out, and Jimmy Uso talk about something. Look, I see all y'all stuff saying on social media and stuff like that about this cracks in the bloodline, but you know, families fight and we're going to be cool. Because you sit there thinking that Sami Zayn is going to do anything about taking out the bloodline. Nope. Kevin Owens? Nope. You think Cody Rhodes is going to stop the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania? Hell no. So, as they're saying that the Street Profits make their way out, so we get to the ring. Angelo Dawkins makes a joke like, Solo don't wear shoes because his bunions gotta breathe. Montez Ford said that, oh look, we also got Jey Uso in the ring who got a 90 overall in 2K23. Oh wait, that's not Jey Uso, that's Jimmy Uso. Jey is the bridge of the bloodline. If I was the bridge, I'd be tired too. And then, Jimmy talk about something. Well, you talk a lot of crap for somebody that got bodied by the bloodline. Well, you know what? Grand Rapids, we want smoke. So then they start fighting off, and then we go to commercial break and headed to the tag team matchup. I thought the tag team matchup was decent between them. Obviously, we're still doing. We're having the mystery of like not having Jay there, and wonder how long he gonna stretch this thing out. But we got like another 5 weeks to build here, and then so we had Solo Sikoa in the ring. Montez towards the end. Montez was going on the top to try, I guess, to give the frog splash to Jimmy, but or was it? I think it was it Solo, and Jimmy pushes him off, and he like front flips outside the ring onto the apron, and then it just leaves Angelo Dawkins in the ring with Solo Sikoa, who gives him the Samoan spike, and then they end up winning the matchup. So after the matchup, they double team the Street Profits and beat them up, and then Kevin Owens with a hoodie comes out. The audience and super kick Solo, and then gives a stunner to Jimmy, and then rolls out the ring, and then Solo tries to come attack him with a chair. And so Kevin Owens is not done with the bloodline. He's going to do it by himself, as we're gonna find out later. I know it was a hot opening to Raw. I know we was like, this is not even the part that bothers me about Raw, but I thought it was a real good start, to Raw, and to showcase my team. Even though we've seen Street Profits and the Usos many times, and the Street Profits and the Usos are not on the New Day and Usos level, even though it wasn't the full Usos because we had Solo Sikoa in there, so it switched up the dynamic just enough for me not to get too bored with it, Now we get a recap of what happened at Elimination Chamber between Brock and Bobby. And now we go to commercial break, and then we come back with the VIP lounge. Brock Lesnar comes out first. Cowboy Brock, he comes out, and then he's all over the ring, and then MVP comes out to his terrible music. Once again, I know it's a side point. I'll probably talk about this on a random video or something like that. However, it bothers me when, all that CFO music or all the Jim Johnson music is just like going for these generic remixes. I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I had to say that because I missed the old MVP with the clock going that 1, 2. You hear the clock ticking, tick, tick-tock, you about to stop. That's the MVP song I like. The one that Brock Lesnar was jamming to at the 2020 Royal Rumble when MVP returned. That's the one I'm talking about. I'm coming. You know, God, what is this generic crap, man? Post in the comments down below if you feel the same way about music. But anyway, MVP comes down there and then Lesnar says, please, great rappers, you know, I apologize. Sorry. Please join me, MVP. You know, it's his show, MVP Lounge. He said, Lesnar has no beef with MVP. I have no beef with you. I'm all about business. And MVP was worried about, you know, going to Suplex City. And then he says, but look, this is a beautiful VIP lounge. Just sit in here and talk business. They put a lot of emphasis on the word business. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, it's coming, right? So MVP wants to show you we're talking about business. I won't be visiting Suplex City. There will be no suplexes tonight. No problem. So MVP gets in the ring, and Lesnar says, have a seat. He said, I want to, Lesnar says he wants to hear since you called me a coward. And you insulted him last week. But you know what? No. It's cool. I want you to do what you do best. Hype the fight. I want you to talk, of this fight, this business proposal you got me. Hype the fight. And I sit there. So MVP sits there and says, okay, you're the beast incarnate. If Brock Lesnar puts his hands on a man, they have no chance. If he takes someone to Suplex City or hits an F5, that person is done for. But Lesnar had his hands full with the almighty Bobby Lashley, and MVP wasn't in his corner. Lesnar couldn't have his way with Lashley, but for some reason, he thinks he can have his way with the 7'3", 416-pound Nigerian giant. Lesnar can do whatever he wants to a man, but if he puts his hands on the giant puts his hands back on him. He issues the issue is the beast can destroy any man, but a giant will subdue and conquer a beast. Lesnar's like, he's looking like sitting there in the chair. He's like, I'm excited. He's just like, okay, come on, give it to me, right? And he said Lesnar can suplex F5 anyone he wants, but he can't do it to the Nigerian giant named OMOS. And Lesnar gets up, he's like, that was good. That was really good. He gives MVP a high five and everything. He said that was damn good. So you know what? I accept the challenge. Look, and then he goes over like hugs MVP and he says, look, so we've got business. He says, but not only do I accept, let's shake on it. And then he looks at the WrestleMania side. He says, Brock Lesnar versus OMOS with MVP in his corner at WrestleMania. And then he says, well, we should have a toast. And then Brock said, no, hold on now. You a baller. I really thought Brock was going to say baller shot caller, right? But he didn't. He said, you're a baller. He said, but look, I'm a farmer. And what we do, he pulled out the flask. He said, we going to drink on it. And then so he drank. He's like, whoo! And then he MVP said, well, what are we drinking? And he said, that's white lightning, moonshine, corn liquor, all that stuff. That's something that my father be drinking. So he drunk some, and then MVP was like, well, I'm cool. I'm going to stick with the champagne. And he said, oh, you're not going to let me drink by myself now, are you? So MVP goes and drinks the flask, but then it's so good. Look, if any of y'all had moonshine, if y'all not like alcohol drinkers or like really like into that kind of stuff, that should be burning your chest. But I don't know if it was real moonshine or not. Probably was. MVP drunk it and he spit it right back in Brock Lesnar's face, like like a reactionary thing. And that's when MVP knew he fucked up. And Brock is wiping. He takes his handkerchief, he wipes it, blows his nose and everything like that. And then he gives MVP an F5 right there. And the way MVP sold it was hilarious. He was like a Family Guy cartoon skit, like when they get beat up, his leg was just all hanging on the couch and shit. That joke was good. And then Lesnar walks off. No, let me get this out the way first. I enjoyed the segment. However, this shit is official. Are you kidding me? This is Brock Lesnar versus OMOS at WrestleMania is official. Listen. This is the thing I'm talking about, because I don't really truly believe in my heart of hearts, that Triple H booked this match. Does that mean Vince is back in creative full time and he's running everything? No, it does not. It really does not. And like I said, look, I know my partner Prime wanted to be a troll and just do all stuff like that, and just wanted to sake of argument or just want to watch the world burn. But I'm saying, but this right here is to a casual fan. Like, God rest my mother's soul. But if she was here when we was watching wrestling, she would like this matchup because it's Brock Lesnar, who is this beast, taking on this huge ass legit 7'3" giant. Wrestling fans who understand how wrestling works understands that this matchup is ass. It's the kind of same thing they tried to do at WrestleMania 23 with Kane and the Great Khali. Because it's the Monster Kane taking on this Punjabi giant in the Great Khali, but Great Khali couldn't move. I will give OMOS can move way better than the Great Khali. I don't like comparisons of OMOS and the Great Khali because OMOS can actually move. Okay, Great Khali could not move. However, OMOS is still green and still can't work. Okay, like that. And I was like, we see Omos get picked up by Bobby last year. So if this is a whole spot about Brock picking up him in the F5, okay. Or suplexing him, alright. But I really thought this was going to be a backdoor opening to getting the Hurt Business back together, because even later, which I'll get to, Bobby even talks about Brock again. They keep bringing up how Brock cheated to get out this match. They keep bringing that up. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why aren't we doing something to finish out this whole damn story? Why do we finish it like that? Why isn't, if they're going to do it, they do a triple threat match or something like that? Why, out of all the possible scenarios when it comes to Bobby, Brock, Omos, and Bray Wyatt, these are the worst case scenarios for both of them. Of Brock and Omos and Bobby and Bray. The only thing I can think of is that if Triple H is just like, look, I want to have something to do with this, and if it's going to be a Hurt Business reunion, they probably would save it for the Monday, the WrestleMania Monday, or the Raw after WrestleMania, which I can see that. I can see that maybe Brock will beat Omos, okay, and then it's like, okay, well, they will have Brock will sell his ass he sold his ass off for the Big Show, okay, he will sell his ass off for Omos. But however, it's the worst. I'm sorry, I am not a fan of this. It's like I'm not a fan of Bray and Bobby, which I'll get to that shit later. Captain Kelly talks to Becky Lynch and Lita backstage, and they just to sum the whole thing up, they're happy that they're going to be teaming up, even though Becky doesn't play well with others, but she wouldn't have picked nobody else to go after the championships with. Next up, we get Cody Rhodes taking on Chad Gable in a matchup. This was a really good matchup. Chad Gable is awesome. Cody Rhodes is awesome. They did some great moves out there. There was a spot in the match that it seemed like Chad Gable had Cody Rhodes almost in like a muscle buster, but flipped him forward and face drop DDT. I thought that was impressive. Cody dives through the ropes on the Gable, but then he sees Otis out there staring at somebody. And then he goes over and puts his arm around Otis like, oh yeah, is she up there? She looks really good up there. Yeah, that's the one. Like playing with him. And meanwhile, keeping him distracted from the matchup, gives Chad Gable a crossroads. And boy, I say Chad Gable sold this crossroads and fell right on his head, like spiked himself, like RVD used to do. Man, it was good. And Cody Rhodes, wins the matchup. Cody Rhodes takes the microphone, and then the crowd cheers him on because, Cody is still over. And he says, Rhodes said, we're 33 days away from WrestleMania, and Rhodes has yet to stand in the same ring with his opponent at Roman Reigns, stand in the ring with the Tribal Chief. But he says, you know what? He returns on Smackdown on Friday. And he said, I'm so ecstatic because I'll be there too. Finally, Cody needs to go to Smackdown because the him and Paul Heyman stuff was not going to keep working all the way to WrestleMania. Roman don't work Mondays. They already know that wherever show Roman's on is the A show. So SmackDown is going to be their A show. They obviously don't give too much stuff about Raw. So Cody Cody's gonna be on SmackDown with Roman. That should be hot. Byron Saxon's backstage with Baron Corbin. Corbin looks frustrated, and he has a message for the WWE Universe. But as Corbin was about to speak, he sit there and he's like, Byron Saxon's like, hold on, I just got a report. I got to cancel this interview to go over to Kevin Owens. This is going to be the whole thing with Corbin. It keeps getting forgotten about. And Owens says that the bloodline should be worried about consequences, and all Owens wants to see is the bloodline fall, and he'll do it by himself. Come up next, we take a look at Judgment Days on, what happened on SmackDown with Rhea and Charlotte. I guess I talked about that in the podcast. Then we do another WWE Hollywood bit of the Titanic with Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. So, I was like, it was not that great. You know what I'm saying, to be honest with you? And I think it's because of the way how it was written. Because a lot of these segments, I'm just like, it feels as though, like with the Seth one, and first of all, the Titanic one was too short, because the Seth one and the Joker, like, they got time, and I was like, this could have benefited from being, I don't know, 2 minutes long, maybe, like a trailer, because that's what Hollywood and movies trailer, I thought it could benefit from that, but it was only about 40 seconds of anything. I'm like, damn, and that's about as much as we got in the teaser trailer. And I'm like, okay, it was fine that he just tells her to come and take her hand and go over there. She's flying and they want to take a selfie, but then he drops his phone and then he didn't save it to the cloud. That's all it was. I'm like, you could have really spiced this up. You could have put Angel Dawkins in the trailer. You could have put a lot of things in there. Like, Angel Dawkins would have been one of Leonardo DiCaprio's friends that came on the boat with him. All these things. I was just sitting there like, they didn't, I felt as though they didn't use all the resources. I'm wondering, like, I'm kind of hoping that we get longer segments and more, into that, because I really enjoy the Hollywood ones. So right now, 2005 has shut this whole thing down. They're just like, look, we the kings, we did this right. All right, Judgment Day is backstage like a Yo MTV Raps promo, all hugged up, talking about something. It's time for the Judgment Day. All rise for the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio doing this. Reunion on Friday. Dominic showed up. Calls father loser. Rhea Ripley will face Liv Morgan on Friday, and Dominic will come and show his father that he's an ex-con Dom's yard now. Rhea Ripley says she shook Charlotte Flair by being in the same arena as her. She didn't see fear in Flair's eyes. She saw acceptance. Flair cannot escape her own fate at WrestleMania, and she's leading with the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Finn Balor says, like this really felt like a Yo MTV Raps. Go watch some old episodes of Yo MTV Raps on Paramount Plus, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Finn Balor says, "Oh, you thought this was done at the Elimination Chamber?" Well, no, because he challenges Edge at a match at WrestleMania, which I do believe may be the Hell in a Cell matchup, because as of right now, as a booking they do, we ain't got no gimmick matches or stipulation matches on the WrestleMania card just yet. But maybe Bobby and Bray may be one, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm holding out that I think Hell in a Cell may be one, probably night 2. Otis is out there pacing in the office, and then the trader's office, and Maxine Dupree with Maxo Male Models comes up, and Dupree says that they could be his corner for his match tonight, and Otis agrees and says he looks for Adam Pearce. Asuka versus Carmella is next. I do like how Corey Graves was on commentary, was like, could you please shut up and let me talk about my wife? So that was funny. But Asuka Carmella had a matchup. Asuka makes Carmella tap out, of course. After the match, Asuka gets on the microphone and shouts out and calls Bianca Belair out. And then Bianca Belair comes out. My goodness. Woo! Woo! She comes out and then says, you can't spell WrestleMania without EST. And Carmella knocks Belair into Asuka. And Belair is furious, which is going to set up a match next week, because Adam Pearce does that when Carmella's in his office along with Chelsea Green looking for the manager. I just clear that up out the way right now. Piper Niven is on her way to the ring to face Candice LeRae. This matchup didn't really go as long as I wanted to. It wasn't nothing really serious. It was just like there, just a filler. Okay, and she rolls up Piper Niven for the victory. I was just like, okay, sure. Byron Saxon's backstage with Giant Gargano, talks about Otis' challenge him to a match. Judge Day shows up and says Gargano assaults him. Dave Priest says he can drop him like he did Elimination Chamber. Balor says once Otis is finished with Gargano, he'll take him out next week. Gargano accepts. Miz is on his way for Miz TV. Last week, Maurice gave Miz an envelope, and I was just like, I didn't know what it was going to be. I was listening to some people. I'm going to give credit to what credit's due. Listen to Solid Monster Sounds Off. It's a great podcast. Check it out. And I was just like, he called it automatically what it could be. And I was just like, damn, why not think of that? Because when he opens it up, it's like Miz is going to be the host of WrestleMania. Because there's nothing really for the Miz to do. There's no match for Miz to do. It's in Hollywood. That's the whole character. So it'll probably, he got to be the host. So Seth freaking Rollins comes down, Drip God himself, comes down wearing these furry sunglasses, huge fur coat, and then Miz upset that he's messed up his special moment for being in the host. And then Rollins says 2 weeks ago he stopped the Miz out of the big red boots because Miz was a jerk, and last week Miz had to be stopped 3 times because you're a bit of a b-hole. Miz says, well, he's an A type of person, and Rollins asked him, an a-hole, light a-hole? I was like, a-hole chance picks up. I'm like, God, you could just call him an asshole, to be honest with you. Rollins is here for a favor. He says he was trying to get a hold of Logan Paul, but it's been difficult. But since the Miz taught him everything he knows, and he's about to host a WrestleMania, why don't you give him a call? And so they would make the phone call to Logan Paul, and Miz says, no, I'm not doing that. Miz doesn't do anything because he's an A-lister, and then that's why he's going to be on 2 nights of WrestleMania. Rollins is a joke. Rollins super kicks Miz down, and as he's doing that, he takes Miz's phone because Miz has, I think one of the odd things with a face scan to unlock his phone. He does that, and then he FaceTimes Logan Paul, and he tells him, he says, surprise, surprise. Ron says he wants to know how Jake Paul is doing after that rough day. Yeah, because Jake Paul lost his first matchup. Woohoo! So Rollins challenges Paul to show up next week, and Logan Paul accepts, and then Rollins says, "Oh, before you go, bye, bitch," and then laughs off and celebrates. Well, I should have seen the Miz being the host from a mile away, and I did not, take the time to be like, "Oh, you're gonna be the guest host." So Logan Paul Logan Paul and Seth going to probably be a good matchup. So I can see, and there's reports that Logan Paul's match originally was going to be canceled with Cena. And honestly, I know I'm probably wrong about this. I think a Logan versus Cena was more of a Vince idea than Seth Rollins, because Logan can work. Despite how I feel about the Paul brothers, Logan can actually work. And you will put him in there with a worker. Cena is old. Cena's past his prime. Cena is not going to give you a John Cena 2015 match. He's not. So you can save him for Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Speaking of Austin Theory, United States Champion walks up backstage and Theory says Damage Control are great champions, but he's the greatest. Still, people want to talk only about John Cena. Theory has only been showing hustle and loyalty. Last week he defeated Hall of Famer Edge. 2 days after Elimination Chamber, the only thing he doesn't have is respect. He'll meet John Cena in the ring next week and show him respect. He hopes Cena will give him respect as well. And Bobby Lashley makes his way to the ring to face Elias. Listen, they showed a little corner of the whole Firefly Funhouse, which I have shit to say about that on the podcast. You guys can listen to that after this, or by the little Smackdown section I'm going to put up. But Bobby Lashley versus Elias, really, Spinebuster, Spear, Hurt Lock, it doesn't matter. It's over. Bobby Lashley gets on the microphone and says he's not in a good mood right now. Peep this. He's not in a good mood right now. He owned Brock Lesnar at Elimination Chamber, and instead of Lesnar tapping out to the hurt like he was just to a low blow. Lashley won the match, but he wanted more. Okay. So let's finish this thing out. But no, we're not doing that. He says, for proving his dominance over Brock Lesnar, he gets Bray Wyatt playing his kid games. I feel as though this is a legit shoot. I really feel as though that even though Bobby's at that girl on the microphone, I feel as though that this is how he feel like, look, I want Lesnar at WrestleMania program done right, no holds barred. Like he said in an interview, I don't know if it was Errol Hawani or something like that. He was interviewing. He said that's how he wanted it. No holds barred. Him and Lesnar got to go straight up at it, like just beat the shit out of each other. That never happened. Meanwhile, we're getting Bray Wyatt play the kids game. He said Lashley doesn't play little kid games because Almighty wants Wyatt to keep his name out of his mouth or he'll hurt him. As he leaves the ring, Lashley walking up there, and then he sees like the Firefly Funhouse doing the Muscle Man dance. Remember the Muscle Man dance? And they show Bobby back when he first came and he was doing the pose down challenge with like Apollo Crews, stuff like that. And he was, flexing his muscle, stuff like that. And then it gets like serious, and then Wyatt then warns him to run. Lashley is furious and walks off while Wyatt's logo remains on the screen. Okay. This is my problem. Like I said, worst case scenario with any of these situations here. Wyatt and Lashley is a match I do not want to see. Okay? And it's not because they're bad wrestlers. But I don't think they got the chemistry in there. There's no reason for this. There's no reason for this. Bray Wyatt randomly calls out either Brock or Bobby, and it does nothing because we don't even know right now the Uncle Howdy story is put on pause. Uncle Howdy is a background character, which makes me even further, like, look at when Bray Wyatt first came back to now, okay? It to me, it's like, once again, I don't know if Vince is trying to, like, no, because, Vince and Bray Wyatt have always been clashing his. But I'm like, right now, the story don't feel as good. It feels all over the place. We don't know where we're going with it. Uncle Howdy is now resorting to a side character. We're basically getting Firefly. We're getting Funhouse Bray back now, opposed to this new Bray. What the hell is going on? It's like, it's like, after that shit at the Royal Rumble with LA Knight, there's nothing that they're going to do that's going to make me entertained for this matchup. This is a night one matchup. Get done out the way, and it's probably going to be something stupid. Now, the only thing that can make this any kind of interesting is he does a Firefly Funhouse matchup with Bobby Lashley, and he doesn't say that he did with Cena. Lashley not going to go for all that shit. He's not doing that. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Otis takes on Johnny Gargano with Maximum Models. At one point, Dexter Lumis comes trying to kidnap Masace, and Mansoor tries to fight him off, but it doesn't work. Gargano hits the one final beat on Otis for the win. Right now, Dexter Lumis has cooled all the way off. Okay, Gargano needs Ciampa to come back. Okay, and it's just, that's how it needs. Main event time. Women's Tag Team Championships, Becky Lynch and Lita taking on Damage Control. Lita looks like, her body wise looks good. She had her little LL Cool J leg pulled up on. She's slower, obviously, what I'm saying, but she's a legend. They tried to do like a little whisper in the wind, like do a closeout. She took her time with that move. But the match was kind of cool. But after a while, Becky Lynch keeps trying to go for a tag, but Bayley pulls Lita off the apron, and she keeps getting involved into the matchup. The Damage Control hits a double powerbomb on Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch kicks out and they're surprised. So, as Bayley Dawn's interferes, Trish Stratus comes down, still looking good. Trish Stratus runs down to the ring and attacks Bayley and starts beating up on Bayley. So, meanwhile, now it's just Lita and Io Sky in the ring. Io Sky takes Lita down, goes for a moonsault, but she misses. So then Lita goes, this is after she gets tagged in by Becky Lynch. Goes for a twist of fate, and then she's going to the top of the moonsault. Like, it was taking so much time because Dakota tried to get in there, and then Becky Lynch beat up Dakota Kai. Then Bayley tried to get up there again, and then Trish took her down, hit her with the chick kick, and took out Bayley. And then Lita hit her Lita moonsault better than she did when she first came back in the Royal Rumble, and she pins Io Sky, and they win the Tag Team Championships. So, I felt as though, and then Becky Lynch also put Dakota Kai to disarm her to take her out. So Trish returned. Trish and Lita, I thought would have been cool as tag team champions, but I know why the Becky thing is in here, because I didn't want to get Becky and Ronda backdoor in there somehow. I think that's what they want to do. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I mean, it was fine. It was a decent moment for Lita because she's a added to her resume, and then her and Trish Stratus still look good. I really think they were probably going to do Trish Stratus and Bayley at Mania. Obviously, they may throw Damage Control a triple threat tag team match because that's what they're going to do for women, is to find a way to put them on the card, to be honest with you. But that's what I think it's going to be. So that was Raw, and it wasn't that exciting at all. Like I said, there were certain segments in there that was cool that I liked. Certain segments, like I enjoyed the segment between Brock and MVP, but the results was terrible. I liked the opening, that was cool, and everything else was just there. The main event was a decent moment at the end, but it was still like, okay. But other than that, everything else was just filler. Okay, more filler. I'm like, this is WrestleMania, y'all, and I understand y'all making matches, y'all announcing them, but that's how I get to the bill. They're just treading water until next week, until they get to Boston where John Cena's there, and they're trying to load up that show with Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa. Also, they're going to meet up with John Cena, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins. Like, we're starting to do face-offs to build these WrestleMania matches and stuff like that. Edge's probably going to respond to Finn Balor and all that kind of stuff like that. And then SmackDown, we got Cody Rhodes going to SmackDown. So that's what it's going to be like. But honestly, Raw, besides some segments, it kind of gets about a thumbs down for me. If you're going to do it, it was just boring. Especially when it lead up to WrestleMania, it just be kind of boring. And I'm already pissed about the OMOS thing. But post all your comments down below how you guys felt about it. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed my review. Hit the subscribe button for more WWE or wrestling reviews right here on NC Studios. So once again, it's NC the place to be. Chill Train, Mr. A&D, and the Nerd Coalition is out.